And so it begins. That's what I heard when I tapped into the energy today to see what message wanted to come through. And so it begins. I think we are becoming. I think it's finally happening. There was something about being returned to factory reset mode. Your life is being returned to factory reset mode. There's going to be this delineation point coming through. It's a little abstract, but when it hits, you'll be able to recognize it. There's going to be this moment. It's actually the energy of Chiron operating. Chiron is currently in Aries. I feel like it's something that's going to get activated during the Venus retrograde cycle through Aries and Pisces. It starts on March 1st and it goes through the 12th of April. And Chiron orbits between Saturn and Uranus. So it's kind of a liminal space between the matrix and parallel dimensions. And I feel like you've been sort of operating on one stratum of being. It's almost like you ended up finding your way into a certain root system unintentionally. And there's something about that particular branch of that root system that needs to be quarantined. It needs to be quarantined because there's almost like faulty programming there. That's how it's coming through. There's like faulty programming there. Now, I can see how this could be coming through in many different ways. It could be that you uploaded something, and in uploading something, it's sort of like contaminated. It contaminated your electronics. I could see that, okay? So I could see it coming through as like an interweb issue, right? But I can also see it as taking on some belief systems, taking on a certain perspective through going into territory, maybe within a certain network too, right? A certain network, a certain group of people. I'm also thinking roots of a matter, roots of an issue, root of a problem, all right? There's something there. There's something there that needs to be quarantined, all right? Because of some kind of virus. I feel like a virus of the mind. There's something about these particular roots that have been, what comes through is like violated, like they've been violated in some way. Almost like there was entry into an area that wasn't meant to be entered into. And then it makes me think you're tied to this. So it's your root system. Okay, so is this like a breach of your root system? I could see that. X marks the spot. You know, that's what came through when I was getting this initial download. X marks the spot of the problem. You think of X, and there's a lot of different things that come in with that, okay? First of all, X marks the spot on a map that leads to treasure too. And that made me think about how your deepest wounds, the stuff that's at the root of your being, your deepest wounds can also be your greatest empowerments, that they often have some kind of gift to offer. And that is one of the lessons of Chiron, that Aries and Chiron, the wounded healer. It brings in the energy of healing quest. So I feel like that's what's coming in here. It's a healing quest to recover some sense of empowerment, perhaps out of what felt like a violating or disempowering experience. Or when somebody was granted access to something that was quite intimate to you, which is why your energy feels so connected to it. because you found yourself in an inner sanctum space, but you felt the invasion of outside energies. Yes. There's something there. There's something there where somebody wanted knowledge through tapping your roots. And see, that's not the medicine. There's like almost like a fracturing of the medicine wheel here, you see, in that image in the eye. There needs to be warding from this. It's something that comes from the direction south, with that serpent energy, something wanting to be able to have knowledge of your roots, but it's coming through as like there's been some kind of corruption there, and that it could have caused root rot. This is root rot. This is what I'm hearing. It's almost like spoiling the roots. So like needing to quarantine this virus of sorts. You know, you could see it too as like a parasitic as well. You know, sometimes parasites, they get to the root system and they can drain it. When I look at like the roots, it also makes me think of the nervous system here. And for some reason, when I was thinking of the nervous system, it made me think of those branches in the nervous system, right? Looking a lot like dry soil in the desert that's really parched, you know, and it cracks the earth. It creates cracks in the earth. Just like there's a crack in the earth here in the medicine wheel. It's off center. So there's something here that needs to be addressed on a very elemental level. I heard like dry and arid, and that makes me think water. You need water, okay? You need water. You need water. You need oils, oils and water. Like these qualities are needing to come in to address the disruption in your root system. Through somebody trying to tap into the root system. Those of you who work with trees, it could even be like outside energy trying to tap into your particular tree of knowledge, you know, gain access to certain branches of your knowledge that they don't have permission to view into. This can be through remote viewing, okay? It seems harmless, but it's actually not. With annihilation, it is something to be aware of here. I think of X, okay, beyond treasure. You can think of an X, you know. You can think of something you've X'd out of your life. Could be coming from an influence. Oh, could it be Madame Rufflebonnet on the scene? She has a calm, cool, placid exterior, but inside, she's hell bent on annihilation. Could be. I mean, it could be Madame Rufflebonnet's known to come around and be a little problematic, okay? But see, you got to understand with this energy coming in here, you have the ability, being in this sort of liminal space, to really pluck that treasure from that spot, to overcome what has maybe trampled over some boundary lines. I do got that for some of you, this could be coming through, you know, electronically, your devices, your accounts, things of this nature. Yeah, be aware of what you download. Also be aware how you upload, like what are you taking on to in the programming? And I mean that from like a consciousness set. I mean, it can really affect your ability to rise up here. Bird is the word. You want the bird's eye view, eagle medicine there coming through. Great spirit energy. See, you're being set to factory reset mode here. So it's like in the dissolution, the ending. the old cycle. There's going to be the birth of the new, but you got to be careful about what you upload here, what you take on here. Because just as you're about to get higher ground here, you could take on something that's quite parasitic. I feel like it goes for the roots. This is how it's coming through. And I'm speaking on many different stratums of being right now as well. I mean, I think of X and I think of naturally, formerly Twitter too, okay? It could be something going on online, right? We're meant to use our quantum mind like a bridge through our chakra system between the inner and outer reality. And so there's a lot of different ways you can look at this kind of energy and how it's playing out and what needs to be mindful of here. It's all a reflection. What's going on physically in the body is also a reflection for what's going on physically with the world soul, with the planet itself. There's a direct correlation there because we are that. It's also what we're going to see stemming from that. Since man is part of nature, technology also gets intertwined with all of that. We're bringing in all this AI stuff, all this artificial stuff, you know. There's something here about something that's starting to take over, perhaps the consciousness as well, on a collective level, like a mind virus. It's like, oh, they have Brenda here. You know? Yeah, it's funny how the same characters always show up. We got Madame Rufflebonnet and Brenda on the scene, so we know that we're dealing with something here that wants control or wants access to certain areas that it should not have access to, right? Maybe going at this through the root, okay? You can look at that in spiritual work as through destabilization. This is something to be mindful of. It's also important that when we're experiencing a lot of changes and we're moving through a lot of shifts in our reality, that we're mindful of tending to ourselves as well, all right? Yeah, okay. See, some of this is going on online. There is something happening here online, all right? There definitely is. And I feel like this is how it kind of came in earlier, where there's been access to certain networks or certain breaches of, you know, security, where there's been this infiltration. It may be like slow to coming to awareness, right? But it will be sort of outed here. Like I do feel like there's something going on there. You may have dealt with this. You could have dealt with having, your own personal profiles, you know, have issues. Okay. You could have dealt with it, through, just taking on a virus on your computer through stuff you've been uploading. There's something about being really careful about what you're uploading right now. What you're uploading and also what you're downloading, both have, application here in this situation. There's something to look at there, all right? I do feel like you're being helped out in a situation collective to figure out where the problem is. It's something in the root. So it's in the root system. It's in a network system. It's in the branches off of that, okay? And of course, this is speaking to you personally, but it's also what's going on a more global level as well, all right? Got this like warriors come out and play energy here with vengeance, and I do feel like with your own personal energy or an area to you that you feel is intimate and is off limits, that there's also been some kind of similar tapping into the roots to try to grok some kind of knowledge here. And I feel like you're very much in this place of wanting to ward this interference. But you're going to be given some kind of assistance here. This is sort of what's coming through. It's a bit of healing quest, okay? It's a healing quest to retrieve the treasure from something that I feel has been very difficult for you. All right. Something that maybe has had you feeling quite parched or in need of some kind of sustenance, some kind of nourishment. All right. It has to start first with you, though. There's this like caution here to not let your pain define you. Right. Some of you have become too identified with your pain, and there's the need to actually activate the healer to transmute that pain. Dandelion was coming through very strongly. Dandelion, the word itself, is lion's teeth. That's what it means. So I do feel like there's something, potentially something past oriented that's had you in its jaws. Yes. It's been holding up your creativity too with the dildo wizard here. May have made you feel like a bit of a martyr. Okay. And this is something, that has been inhibiting your forward progression here, or it's been causing holdups in what you're looking to transform. It's also a source of depletion. Bottom of the deck, the Pie Knight. The Pie Knight. Again, it's like, I don't know why, but I got this impression of like somebody has been sort of taking more than their share, but it feels like more of their share from something that is not theirs to take through getting access through suspect means here. Suspect. I almost said suspect memes as well. Interesting. A lot of online reference stuff coming through. I don't know why. Has somebody been taking like sneak disses at you with suspect memes? This coming through too, like how people can affect your energy online too, according to what you're taking in, who you're connecting with. This is really interesting. There's something here that you're taking on, and it's having more of an effect on you than you realize. Though is sort of how it's coming through. There's a need to be more aware of like what you're uploading, what you're downloading, what you're taking in. And you're getting some kind of assistance here in identifying what's at the root cause. And I feel like it's going to allow you to sort of return your life to its like factory resets. And it may help you find the way through that liminal space between the matrix and the parallel dimensions to correct for that misalignment. The medicine wheel, there's something here that's like the fundamental ground of your being that needs to be addressed. You may want to work with dandelion. Dandelion is known to like loosen up real compacted soil. And especially, if soil's gotten really dry because it's in need of water, if the ground of your being has become parched and it's in need of some kind of nourishment, if it's in need of like getting the lymph moving so the emotions can move, so nutrients can start to come in and revitalize you, this may be, really coming in as something to work with here. Of course, check it out with your healthcare practitioners. But dandelion loosens compacted soil, and then it also grows real deep tap roots that nourish and revitalize the soil. So it helps bring about like restoration. And I feel like you're going through a similar process of what dandelion does. It's almost like you've been put in circumstances where you've had to be super resilient because of everything that's come at you. And it's like you're prepared, man. You got your dagger, you got your nunchucks, You've learned how to skate through certain hardships, and most people would crumble under. It's like you've really been tested here. But I think there's something here that's been more subtly testing you that you're not aware of. That's sort of how it's coming through. It's something that's in the roots. And there's something that's needing nourishment here. So I feel like your roots are needing nourishment, like the root chakra is needing nourishment. There's grounding needed here. I also feel like the nervous system is needing nourishment. Okay, water, oil coming in. I also think there's something about your roots that are needing nourishment as well. Right? Here you are becoming in the infinite cosmic mess. Look, it also looks like all those timelines are converging to the point where maybe they are finally merging together. I feel like also you're tapping into an area where you didn't have access to before. And I believe it's the potential of Chiron. It's really understanding that there's some kind of treasure that you're plucking from what was a wound, that it holds your empowerment. There's no sense of victimization here. It's quite the opposite. It's almost like you've been through resilience training. You've been put in really uncomfortable situations, very much like the dandelion. You've learned how to grow in the most inhospitable settings, and something about that is helping you tap into a certain root system or body of knowledge as well within yourself. Ooh, look at that. Instinct. There's the snake medicine. See? There's the snake medicine. So yes, the snake was down in the roots. The snake needs to retrieve the knowledge from the roots too. Remember how that opened up there? Then it's like something will awaken within the animal body. That's what I got. You know, you'll know what to do. It like returns your life to reset mode. There's almost like a matter that can only be resolved on the quantum field. And the only way you can do that is through your energy body and activating quantum mind to sort of like look at a particularly puzzling problem in a different way. Now, naturally, I mean, themes like this are playing out in your day-to-day life too. It's not so, abstract, truly. But when you really look at it through that lens, it changes the whole way that you approach your life. You don't look at life the same anymore when you recognize, like, oh, wait, isn't that something? I program my reality, and it all depends on what I'm uploading here and what I'm downloading as well. But when something has come in and it's tapped into the root system, right? And there's something corrupt that's been allowed in, then it can make a martyr of you. It can hold back your creative power, your creative potential. And there's something here that you've been trained for with resilience. It has something to do with a heart purpose that you're meant to fulfill and activate. It's a cathartic process here. Trust your instincts, though. You're going to find the way through. Then it's like you will be the bridge through your chakra system between that potential reality that may seem other dimensionally right now, getting rooted in this experience. It's like calling in a different view, through your reality tunnel here. But this is what's happening. It's like the convergence point. It's the convergence point. But you won't arrive at this until you really start addressing the root here. There's like something that's been affected here in relation to like a poison arrow. You know what I mean? There is something outside that has infiltrated the roots. And it applies across the board. And has many branches. And so there's also something here too about how you tap into your roots. It's time to change that up. And I'm speaking for those of you that are alchemists. Maybe you work with the dryads. Maybe you work with tree medicine, right? Or whatever your grounding practices are. Was. There's a need to do something differently here to bypass this. It's like almost like allowing like, it's like embodying that spirit of dandelion. It's coming through like that, to come through and like open up new roads. Like this is like dandelion. Like I'm going to come through and we're going to open up new roads here, and we're going to seal certain roads off, you know, because dandelions are, you know, technically they're considered weeds, so they can prevent certain things from growing too. There's something that's going on energetically here, where you're opening up new roads, okay, as you're quarantining certain aspects of a root system that have become corrupted. That's how it's coming through. Very much in the energy body. Trust your instincts with this. And yes, I think you've also have likely dealt with some interference online as well. I think most of us have in this day and age. There's a lot of breaches of security online. So be aware of like what you're letting into. And that's also what you're letting in, just, you know, energetically, what you're letting into your consciousness. Okay, let me do a cut of the deck here. Yeah, see? So there's something that needs to be like closed down here. And it's coming through as like a birthing portal, because there's something that infiltrated your like creative space here through the roots, right? Through the roots. I mean, it all starts there. You have to be rooted to bring anything into being, you know, before you can draw anything down, before you can manifest anything in your reality, you first have to be really grounded, rooted. You have to be in body. And if something is affecting your security in any way, which when we're looking at root issues, that is your security, that is your ability to have resources at your disposal, to feel supported. It's also the foundation of your health. It's also the foundational matters of your family, your upbringing, all of that, okay? It's everything that deals with you being here on planet Earth in terra firma and being able to function, you know, to be able to take care of things, to have your needs met, right? And the ways that that can be weakened through interference, people tapping into areas where they don't belong, you letting certain energies, influences in that don't belong there because they weaken the roots. There's something here that's been draining the roots, weakening the roots, having a parasitic influence on the roots. It's coming through very strongly, and it's almost like been used as like a birthing portal, and it's time to destroy it. That's what I feel. It's time to cut this off at the pass. It's time to destroy it and actually label it for what it is. When I think of that's how we identify things, you know? You've been trying to figure out what is the thing that is problematic here? What is the thing? What is causing this infiltration? Well, you're about to be able to label it. And in being able to label it, then you can bring it to a close. Right? There is a bit of moth medicine being activated here too. This is being able to see what is the destructive force that is having this shadow influence. And it's through the awareness of it, the light of awareness of it is what activates the transformation of the energy and liberates it. Okay. What do I got on the other side here? Oh, it's a mystery. Oh, see? Somebody in hiding here. Oh, just me. Oh, it's nobody. It's not me. You know, and this is also like not letting yourself be played a fool, not letting yourself be a martyr. All right. It's knowing when to use that dagger to cut yourself down. You know, we see like the target on the happiness here, and we see a need for transformation. What's holding back our happiness? What has a target on our happiness? Well, only the sabotaging influences that we let in. But the only way that we really allow sabotaging influences in is by not being conscious of the sabotaging influences that have infiltrated within us through certain belief systems we've taken on, through certain lack of awareness that maybe is becoming evident now. This is setting oneself free. This is the way we can tie ourselves up in knots, the way we can play tricks on ourselves in order to teach ourselves a valuable lesson. See, it's like there is this understanding that you are not defined by your pain. You are also, this coming through, you are also not the story others have projected on you about your pain. Don't allow people to put a victim story on you. Some of you have had others put a victim story on you. No. You are not identified with your pain. And I feel like this is something that you're freeing yourself from. It's almost giving me the sense, as I go deeper into the message, that you're almost recognizing that you're actually already healed. There is something you've really gone down to the bottom of. What's kind of been keeping you in a perpetual cycle or feeling like you're not healed is the fact that you've allowed certain breaches, breaches in security by letting things infiltrate that are not welcome in your inner sanctum, right? Certain things you've taken on, you formed energetic agreement with, that you're now sussing out and bringing a close to. I see it. And this is going to open up the road for you. We got 333 coming in there. So I don't know. There's real strong energy coming in from dandelion. And if you feel compelled to work with dandelion, it is a good time of year to work with dandelion. Dandelion also really helps get a lot out of the liver, the gallbladder. So in pressurized situations where you have a lot of stored up anger, resentment, it can get that moving too. It can get that cleared out of your system here. What do we have crossing there? Yeah. It's the choice. Are you going to be a martyr, or are you going to cut yourself down because you're the only one who's holding your happiness at bay? There's a target on your happiness because you keep looking back at the shadows behind you instead of cutting yourself free and turning around. And if you did, you'd see the sun's right there. And X marks the spot. Like, it shows you right where to aim for your happiness. All the directions you need are right there. As soon as you cut yourself down and you stop looking back at what is throwing you a little off track with where you're meant to go here. Interesting how that's coming through. Oh yeah, look, we got the great horned owl coming in here, and there's a lot of creative energy that is just waiting for you to tap into at your disposal once you cut off this siphoning force that's draining your roots dry. It's draining your roots dry. It has everything to do with really bringing home, it's coming through that way, bringing home the work of Chiron and Aries, which is, the wound of the self. There's something here that has been a corrupt file from the beginning. Very early on, it was corrupted, is what I got. That you become too strongly identified with, and it's time to pull it out from the roots. It's something that keeps you in a dry, arid environment, and you need to be able to tap into that unctuous earth quality. You're meant to thrive. You've had enough resilience training. You're meant to thrive. I got that. It's not just about survive, but because you haven't sort of like done what needs to be done to really nourish the roots here that has been causing, in some cases, it can be the root of your thinking or the root of your ruminating. It can be, the way the synapses are firing off in your brain and sort of those loops it keeps running here. It's happening on all levels, but it is happening very much on a quantum level here. And your brain may be very busy and it's always creating, it's always creating. And so, like a skip in the record, it may be time to recognize when it's time, to get a new record, get a new record, play a new song, something that needs to be shifted here. And it really is coming in through the roots. It's like you're in the jaws of the lion. And I think of that lion energy, it makes me think of the past. It makes me think of the strength card. Well, you have the resilience, you have the strength to overcome whatever this infiltration is. So you can get back to, the appropriate timeline, factory reset mode, where you're not feeling like so much is out of your hands here. You got the whole world in your hands. It's all up to you and how you see it, how you perceive it. Let me get some of these cards here. I feel compelled to bring in the Infinite Tarot. Yes, King of Earth. Ooh, I like that. There's that rainbow bridge, you see? Dog. Now drop your dogma, man, This is about you fetching some real power here by aligning that chakra system within that forms the rainbow bridge between the quantum mind and those parallel dimensions, so you can bring them down to earth and hack that matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's about getting your head in the game here, right? If some of you have been dealing with funny stuff online, if something seems like a little suspicious to you, with any of your accounts, anything like that, I do recommend maybe you, clear out some files. Do a thorough once over of your system, because I am picking up tech stuff here too, okay? There could be that, there's been people trying to gain access to certain information that they shouldn't have, right? That's coming in. I will say, in that case, I do feel like there was something coming in the download about, well, they found their way in, but now they can't find their way out. And I feel that applies on all levels. Like if they found their way in to a technological space, they're like marked. Like there's some kind of there's X marks the spot. There's some kind of like, trail. There's some kind of digital trail of that breach. You can't get rid of certain things, certain things are there and easy to be discovered. And I feel like that's the case in this situation where it's kind of happening on that level. Spiritually, I feel like, you go and you tap into somebody's roots, and you're exploring an area where you don't belong, where you were not welcomed. That's very problematic. You're going to get stuck down there. And you're not going to know the way out of those roots, And then you're in quite a quandary there when you venture into territory where you do not have access to go. Then I guess you're going to learn some resilience. That's kind of how it comes through. Then you're going to have to learn some resilience, because you're going to have to figure your own way out of that, right? I do have that feeling like where there's been breaches, like whoever did the breaching is feeling like caught up, okay? I think you may like falsely identify yourself with like being somehow stuck too because of them, but that's like the faulty programming. Rise and shine, man. Like you're free of that, okay? there's your sun. You just need to turn your orientation. You're not stuck anywhere. Truly, nobody's stuck, you know? Nobody's stuck. You got to free yourself, though, in your own mind. That's where it all begins. But if somebody's done something, right, and they know they shouldn't have done it, and then they feel guilt around that, well, that's not really freedom. I always say that, like the secrets people keep are the things that really bind them, to be honest, you know? When you're kind of just like an open book, and you're like, whatever, this is it. This is who I am. There's so much freedom in that. But when people have secrets, when they do stuff, you know, shady, and they know that I shouldn't have done that, like that haunts them. And they can say it doesn't bother them, but that's BS. They're always like suspicious. They're always looking over their shoulders. They're always wondering when it's going to catch up to them. It's that energy, right? But you don't need to be fixated on all of that, okay? Take your necessary steps to strengthen and nourish your roots. Take your necessary steps to clear the files. Get your focus on lock here. And then you'll find that you'll get your GPS from your ESP. It will allow you to really understand where you should be focusing your attention. And I like this here because now there's not that like sort of division in the crossroads there. There's the illumination, there's the way through, and nothing is out of alignment, all right? The gift of sky. The gift of sky. Yeah, turn the gaze upward. Close your eyes and turn your gaze upward toward the source of light, okay? And you'll see things very differently here. Yes, and see, that's when you start to find your world turning in a whole new way. It brings the warmth of the sun back. This is really feeling supported, connected to the earth, with Mother Earth energy coming through there, you know? Yeah. There's something about that too, being mindful of this at this time as well, how important it is to connect with the earth too, especially in light of all the technological advancement, everything that's been going on in the world. And it's just getting more surreal, you notice, you know, everything is becoming more artificial. What's real, what's not, you know. The realities are really starting to become blurred. So this is something to be aware of too. That right now, that's something very important to really connect with the earth. You see, look at this beautiful Queen of Earth. That's where the treasure is. And that's where you can really make yourself like the impenetrable diamond, having absolute clarity, strength that was forged in the fire. You got the resilience, but you also have the brilliance, and you have the clarity, and you have the protection, right? The protection from that virus that's sort of like taking over the earth, you know, where people have lost their sense of heart, where people have just kind of become sort of brain dead. They just follow the programming on the screen, just do whatever the screen says. And they've forgotten their connection to the earth. That's big Mother Earth energy with the tortoise totem coming out there. And they've lost their sense of instinct, see? But when we connect with the earth, we're reminded of our true feral nature, okay? And it awakens a certain support, a certain synergy within us when we allow ourselves to, you know, get beyond virtual reality a bit, all right? That's where the treasure is. It makes you impenetrable from all the fuck shit. You know, you don't take on the programming once you got a certain kind of site. So, you know, shut out sort of the noise from the peanut gallery and the big show that's going on the screen, on, you know, all the major news networks, and instead close your eyes and turn your sight up, look up. Change your orientation. It will illuminate a lot for you. Ooh, and look at that. And then it brings the gift of earth. Oh, I love it. Isn't that beautiful? It gives the gift of earth. It gives a new foundation to build things upon. And it comes in with sky family. We got Brother Sky holding the raven there. Look at, there's that sun energy spiraling in. And Raven's all about magic associated with Libra on the medicine wheel. So yes, there's some magic stirring here. It's also here, look at that. It's taking as above, rooting it so below, same spiral that was up there in the sky comes down to earth with earth family. It's the reclaiming of the dawn. It's not wasting the dawn, right? And there's about to be something that's going to dawn on us that allows us to free ourselves from something that has corrupted the root system here. Getting out the faulty files, like it keeps coming through like that. I got the something also, I think of roots and I think of the way they look, and it also makes me think of like lightning, So I do feel like there is this moment that is like very awakening to me. It feels like there's like some kind of real power that's put in your hands through discovery. It's like something you're discovering here. And I know this is like a little abstract, but this is how the energy is coming in, and it's speaking on a lot of different levels. I mean, it's certainly coming in the arena of health, like the nervous system is needing tending to. You need to pay attention to the foundation of things too. Like there's a need to really like be aware of, taking care of your feet. Like people don't think of taking care of their feet a lot, but you need to have good footing for the terrain up ahead. And yes, I mean that literally, but I also mean it metaphorically. Um, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's what I heard. And I think that applies like across the board, like the energy that we're all collectively moving into here. Let me do a cut of the deck. Six of Earth, child. Okay, so this is something new that is about to be born here. And with that, we got water, family, sun. Here's the water to nurture the growth, the birth of the new. So yes, this is like evoking that water element. It's bringing in the emotions, right? It's bringing in more focus to nurturing. It's paying more attention to what you're feeling. It's allowing yourself to be guided by the intuition. It's opening up to receiving. It's learning how to move through things, challenges, situations, obstructions through flow, not force. It's through more gentle penetration of intractable matters rather than just blasting through, right? For this to come through as well, some of you may be preparing to have a child. And there's something that's really coming through in your consciousness about the world we're in and what is to come here, and wanting to leave a different world for your child, right? In that case, I feel like you may be having a son, this energy coming through, or you could be a mother and your son is about to have their first child. Okay, this energy coming in. But this is about the birth of new life. How does the birth come in? Through nurturing the roots after eliminating, cutting out what has been a draining influence or what is spreading dis-ease through the roots. Then the road opens, okay? But it's almost like a portal needs to be shut. There's like this birthing portal that's been used through tapping into your roots. That's what I got. And it needs to be quarantined here because it's become corrupt through infiltration of outside energies. dandelion can help. And even if that's just you really studying dandelion and understanding how hardy it is, it's also a bitter, it's a bitter. So dandelion's very stoic as well. But if you look at it, it's sweet little face. It looks like a sun, right? And the seed heads, they're what we blow wishes upon. So look at how much is within the dandelion. The dandelion are a plant ally that's always found around fairy as well. So a lot of magic with dandelion. Okay. Some of you are on fairy paths. Some of you may be going through a little bit of an initiation, I have to say, into the roots of fairy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got Epona's wild daughter. So Epona comes through a lot of times when there's a need to address something that's on the root level related to like some kind of trauma, okay? And perhaps a conventional approach has not been successful. And so there's a need to take it more into sort of the abstract realm or the dream time realm or the journeying realm to retrieve one's empowerments through heading into that kind of Neptunian territory. Okay, so that's how I feel. Her message is coming in there for some of you. That's what's up here. All right. And so it's just a liminal space, but it gets you through to the place where the proper alignment comes in. And it may even be like, I see it sort of like the three fates too, those three timelines coming together. Okay, so there could be the weaving of a new destiny. Ah, I see. I see. Because almost like there could have been like some kind of almost like quantum entanglement that's come undone. Very interesting. Okay, I know this is a little abstract on some levels, but I don't think it's anything that you're not smelling what I'm stepping in. If you're tuning in for the portal report, then you know what I'm talking about here. You're picking up these things yourself, okay? Anything else I want to bring in? I want to bring in some numbers, okay? I'm going to bring in numbers, letters to close things out. That feels complete. All right, let's see. What do we got for numbers coming in here? Got 2. We got 3. Got 3. Okay, 3s are significant. Life path 3 could be coming in here. Life path 6. Life path 5. Also, life path 8. Life path 6. It looks like there's something coming in here. It really gets you moving. Could be a life path 4, life path 2 connected to that. All right. Something that is being addressed that gets things moving. All right. Very interesting. Brings about a manifestation point. Freeing yourself from a repetitive cycle. Okay. Yeah, it's got the vibe of something has consumed itself. Interesting. Okay. You don't need to tend to anything. Just nurture your roots. Something has already consumed itself. It's almost like an interfering element taking itself out. That's interesting. Okay. The 26th may be an important date. That is the day before the Pisces new moon. Okay, that's going to be coming in pretty soon here, just around the corner. All right. There may be something following that new moon on the 2nd that also signals a new beginning. So the 2nd of March could be the 1st through the 2nd of March coming through there in relation to that. All right. Okay, let's get some letters and see what we got here. All right. I got the word mighty. Okay, so there's a very strong energy coming in here. Mighty. Interesting. String. That's string with that. Mighty string. There's a reverberation here. It's coming through like the strumming of strings. Okay, this could be, with that I got key, okay? There's a key to this. There's a key to this. And right next to that, I got B, okay? Somebody might be making some music here. They're making some music that's really going to, whatever the message is in this music, it's like, it's mighty. It's a real strong message. It's something that reverberates through many hearts. That's what's coming through. Something that reverberates through many hearts. I don't know, it might be in the key of B. That's interesting how that's coming in like that. It's something that reverberates through many hearts. It may bring many different people together, many different cultures together, many different genres of music. There might even be like some African component to it, because I see Kenya here is coming in. Interesting. I got Kanye too, so that's interesting. Sometimes these letters pick up interesting messages. Okay. I also feel like there's something like this that you come across like a certain piece of information, or you gain a certain insight, you get a certain key. And just like when you strum the strings of a guitar, there's something about this. It produces a certain harmony in your life. It reverberates and it brings about resonance. Okay. It brings about resonance on your path, and resonance with others who find their way to your path. There's new people to come. Okay. And so it begins. This is just the beginning. This is just beginning, whatever this is. It feels like it's a brand new start. It feels like really stepping on to the new timeline. There's just been something a little off at the roots that you need to take a peek at. It's coming in like peek. Okay? Just take a little peek. Take a little peek at something you have curiosity around that maybe you've been avoiding looking at, all right? You keep kind of to look into something, all right? You should look into it. Take a peek at it. You might be surprised what you find. I have Bast coming out here. That is the Egyptian cat goddess. And that's a big clue that you do need to have more pleasure, more play, more lightness of being. Something's become too heavy. But I feel like that's because there's been like this infiltration, of your inner sanctum or some area of your life that should be intimate or private. I got king coming in with that, okay? There's a need to like maybe, for those of you masculines out there, it's like it's time to straighten your crown and like remember who you are and stop letting yourself be like, a martyr, for people who have a problem with the choices you've made in your life or what you need to do for your happiness here. It's time for you to really hold court over your own life, make choices that are in resonance with you. Start living your life for yourself, not for other people. It really was coming through for the masculine in relation to that. Interesting. And for some of you feminines, you need to let, these kings lead too, give them an opportunity to stand in their power. They're not children, I'm a grown ass man. That's what I just heard. Yeah, it's coming in for a reason, okay? It is. And it is about ebbs and flows. And when we're thinking of music, that dance of life, it's not a pleasure to dance with somebody who's always trying to lead. One person has to follow. That's the way it works for there to be harmony here. This is coming through for somebody in terms of something that's been throwing off maybe the rooting, the grounding of a connection. Has it just feeling off? Yeah, you got to share the floor, man. And the person who follows is every bit, every bit leading in their own way. It's something you can't understand until you grok the spirit of water. That's what working with that water energy is all about. Okay, this is what I got. This is what wanted to come through. And I think that's quite a bit to digest and take in. So I'm going to just let that be what that is. And I hope you got something out of it. Interesting here, though, just as I go to put these away, do you see the word trap? Okay. So be aware of the booby traps, okay, that could get you sort of caught up again. Because I do feel like you're getting what you need here to quarantine what has become somewhat of a virus in your life through finding yourself in what used to be intimate, territory with people who were not welcome to enter that space, with influences that you're like, how did you get here? And there really is a need to create, this definitive point of, okay, that was then, this is now. I'm not focusing on that anymore. There's sort of some way that you're hanging yourself up too much by trying to, understand something too, right? I think you're going to be given what you need to resolve whatever this is. I got hex. Word hex there, okay? Some of you have been dealing with some kind of spiritual work. And with hex, I see history, okay? The history of a hex. Dun, dun, dun. That's a whole new download. I'll bring that one in tomorrow.